Welcome back to another video lesson, still about statistics. For today, we're going to illustrate the measures of central tendency, specifically how to compute for the mean, median, and mode of ungrouped data. Recall that statistics is a branch of mathematics that deals with the collection, organization, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. After nating mag-collect, mag-organize, and i-present ito using tables and graphs, our next step is to analyze the data that we have gathered. And one way of analyzing data is by computing the measure of central tendency. When we say measure of central tendency, this is a descriptive statistic that describes the average or typical value of a set of scores. So sa measure of central tendency, we are looking for a single value na magre-represent sa ating group of data or sa ating sample or population. So let's say, for example, if we have 50 samples, we will be computing for a single number that can represent those 50 data that we have gathered. We have three common measures for central tendency. We have the mean, median, and the mode. First, let's have the mean. This is the sum of all the numbers in the set divided by how many numbers there are. And this is commonly called the average. The symbol for the mean is X bar, and sometimes we can also call it arithmetic average. To compute for the mean, we simply need to get the sum of the scores, or the data, divided by the number of scores, or the number of data that we have. So let's have an example. Find the mean for the following data. To compute for that, let's just simply use the formula. That is, to find the sum of all the data that we have here divided by the total number of scores or data that we have added. So, i-add lang po muna natin yung mga scores. That will give us 116 divided by 10. That will be 11.6. That means the mean or the average of the following set of data is equal to 11.6. Another example, Sheila got the following grades in the different subjects during the third quarter. What is her average? Since the problem is asking for the average, it also means that we need to compute for the mean of these scores or grades. So we will be using the formula, that is by adding all the grades of Sheila in that quarter divided by the number of subjects. So we have 8 subjects which have the following grades. So 90 plus 85 plus 89 up to 88, that will give us 708. Divided by 8 subjects, we'll have 88.5. So this means that Sheila's average for the third quarter is equal to 88.5. So again, another term for the mean is the arithmetic average, and to find the mean or the average, we simply need to get the sum of the scores divided by the total number of scores or data. Next, we have the median. This is the middle score for a set of data that has been arranged from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. The symbol for the median is this. So the median is simply the middle score once we have arranged it in ascending or descending order. In finding for the median, it is important to note kung ilan nga ba ang ating data. If the number of data is an odd number, just like 5, 7, 9, 25, 55, we simply just need to arrange that from smallest to highest and look at the middle score. While if the number of data that we have is an even number, let's say 10, 20, 50, 100. Once we have arranged that from smallest to highest, we can see that we will have two middle scores. And to find the median for that, we simply need to get the average of the two middle scores. Let's have an example. What is the median of the following scores? So i-arrange po muna natin from smallest to highest, or highest to smallest, whatever you prefer. Once we have arranged it, and knowing that we only have 5 data in this set, we simply need to look for the middle score, and that will be 18. So therefore, the median of these scores is equal to 18. Let's have another example. The list gives the ages of students enrolled in a class. Find the median. So here we have the age of the students. Let's arrange it from youngest to oldest. So here we have 14 data in a set, and 14 is an even number. So that means there will be two middle scores here. Since meron tayong dalawang scores na nasa gitna, we simply need to get the average of that. That means by adding their values divided by 2. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Therefore, the mean of the age of the students who have enrolled in the class is equal to 7.5. So again, don't forget that the median is simply the middle score. Kapag odd number, madali nating malolocate kung ano yung pinakagitna, pero kapag even number yung data in a set, we simply need to get that average so that we can have a single number that can represent the median. The last one is what we call the mode. It is the measure of value which occurs most frequently in a set of data. It is the value with the greatest or highest frequency. So, sa mode naman, kapag may nakikita tayong common value na karamihan ay ayon ng choice, that is the mode of the data. So if there's only one data that occurs most frequently, that means we have one mode and we call it unimodal. While if there are two data values with the same greatest frequency, we call it bimodal. At kung marami namang data values na almost the same din yung pag-occur nila, we call it multimodal. And it is also possible that there is no other values that occur more than the other, pareho lang sila ng frequency. We call it no mode. Okay, so let's have an example to understand it better. What is the mode in this set of data? Dito, you simply need to look for the occurrences of the scores. Meron bang nag-appear na higit sa iba? Here we can see that 12 appeared 3 times compared with the other. That means our mode for this set of data, which has a symbol of this, is equal to 12. And since there's only one data that appeared most frequently, we call it unimodal. Okay? Another example. 10 students were asked how many hours they spent playing Mobile Legends in a week. Their answers were the following. So what is the mode? Mode also means the common answers. So alin dito yung common answers ng 10 students? We simply need to look for the score or data that appeared more or most frequently. We can see here that 2 students answered 3 hours and another 2 students answered 5 hours. The highest frequency is 2 and there are 2 scores with the same frequency. Therefore, we can say that the modes here are 3 and 5. So, okay lang na isa, dalawa, or mas marami pa yung mode for as long as yun yung pinaka-highest frequency. So, since ang highest frequency dito ay 2, we can classify it as bimodal. Okay? And the last example, what is the mode in the following class sizes? Ito daw yung number of students in a class, and tingnan natin kung may common class size. So here, we can see that the frequency of each class size is just the same. Each of the class size appeared once, at walang mas humigit pa sa frequency na 1. That means here, we do not have a mode. So here, it is possible that the data has no mode kung walang data or score na nag-appear more than the other. Sa mode, possible na isa lang yan, dalawa, or mas marami, kung yun yung may pinaka-greatest frequency sa set of data. Kung wala naman, we can simply indicate that there is no mode for that. Okay? So now let's summarize the different measures of central tendency. These are the different ways or common measures that we can use to represent a set of data using a single number. First is by using the mean or getting the arithmetic average, that is by getting the sum of the scores or data divided by the number of scores. Next is for the median or the middle score. We can look for it by simply arranging the data from smallest to highest value. If we have an odd number of data, we simply look at the middle score, and that is already the median. But if we have an even number of data, we simply need to get the average of the two middle scores to represent the median. And the last one is by looking at the mode. That is the data that occurred frequently. So we can have one data that occurred most frequently. We call it unimodal. Kung meron namang two data with the same greatest frequency, we classify it as bimodal. While kung meron namang more than two data values that occurred frequently at yun na din yung highest frequency, we call it multimodal. And of course, if there are no other values that occur more than the other, that means pare-pareho yung frequency ng bawat data, we classify it as no mode. Okay? So in measures of central tendency, it is not necessary to compute for all. Depende lang po sa purpose kung bakit yun yung pipiliin nyo in your analysis. So now, let's have some practice. Let's find the mean median mode of the following set of data. You can try it on your own for 5 minutes, pause this video for a while, and then play it afterwards to check if you got the correct answer. For the first one, daily expenses. For the mean, we simply need to get the sum of the expenses divided by the number of data. So that is 585 divided by 5, 117. That means the average daily expenses of one for 5 days is 117 pesos. For the median, we simply arrange the values from smallest to highest value, and the middle score is 100, which represents the median. And for the mode, we indicate here that there is no mode since all of the expenses just appeared once, and no expense or no amount occurred more than the other. While for the next one, next, we have the height of basketball students in centimeters. So to find the mean, we simply need to add the values of their heights divided by the total number of data. So we have here 9 students or 9 data. The sum of this is 1,404 divided by 9. That means the mean or the average height of 9 basketball students is equal to 156 centimeters. For the median, we simply arrange the values of the height from smallest to highest, and the middle score is 155. So that is the median. While for the mode, the value of height here that occurred most frequently is 145 dahil pareho silang nag-appear twice, and that is the highest frequency. Therefore, we have the mode equal to 145, and we classify it as unimodal dahil isa lang naman yung score na to. Okay? So I hope with this practice, mas naintindihan po on how to compute mean, median, and mode. So thank you very much for watching this video lesson. I hope that you have learned how to compute for the measures of central tendency using ungrouped data.